Dr. Megha Gaure, working as an assistant professor at the Department of Veterinary Pathology. There are the viral diseases of sheep and goat which are causing huge mortality like sheep pox and goat pox, then PPR, blue tongue in sheep, and there are other diseases which are not causing huge mortality but they are leading to the economic losses because of the loss in production and decreased weight gain. So other diseases are contagious ecthyma, then caprine, arthritis, encephalitis, and very sporadic cases of ovine progressive pneumonia and ovine pulmonary adenocarcinoma are encountered in field condition. So I start with the first viral disease, sheeppox and goatpox. It is a highly contagious disease of sheep and goat caused by the sheeppox virus and goatpox virus of the family Poxviridae. They can cause the species cross species infection, means goat pox virus can affect the sheep and sheep pox virus can affect the goat population, though the infection is less severe but they can affect. So cross species infection is possible with these viruses, and this disease is transmitted with direct contact with infected animals and indirectly by the contaminated objects like clothing, then footwear of the farm workers. And as there is involvement of the lungs, there is generation of respiratory aerosols that can be the source of infection to the other animals. And this pox virus, goat pox and sheep pox, can be transmitted by the insects also. And these diseases cause the up to 75 to 80% morbidity in endemic area, and mortality can reach to 80 to 85%, even 100% in susceptible animals. So morbidity is very high. The high number of animals get infected with these viruses. So it is reported in India that around 63.5% of the sheep pox morbidity is there, and for goat pox it is around 49.5%. Then these viruses enters and multiplies, and there is viremia, this virus present in the this blood, and during that viremic phase animal develops high fever. Then there is anorexia and dyspnea, because lung is involved, there is involvement of lung, so pneumonia is there, so that leads to the dyspnea. And there is visible pock lesions, or specifically on the hairless part of the body like mouth, nose and eyelids. So these lesions starts with the papules. Initially they are very small, then they turn into nodules. Sometimes there is a fluid field, so vesicles, pustule, and finally there is scab formation. And these nodules, they can form in the internal organs also like intestines, that leads to the diarrhea. So here are few pictures. Here we can see there are nodules on the face, then on udder and on the lips also. So this all leads to the anorexia because of difficulty in swallowing. So this is the characteristic lesion of the sheeppox, that is called as gunshot wound or bullet wound, because it is the gross appearance is like the that gun bullet has shot into that organ. So this such type of lesions called as gunshot wound, which are very specific and we have to give emphasis during the post-mortem examination. Then such nodules can present in other internal organs like the heart also, kidney, and earlier I mentioned in intestine also, because it is a systemic disease. There is involvement of multiple systems. So such type of nodules can be seen in the different organs in different system. So diagnosis based on the clinical symptoms, we can tentatively diagnose that this is a sheeppox and goatpox. For confirmation, we have to take the help of laboratory where it is confirmed by the PCR, electron microscopy, then virus isolation and serology and histology. And regarding the prevention, vaccination is available for this disease. Both live and inactivated vaccine is available in India, and this vaccine we have to give at the age of 3 months, and then we have to repeat it annually for the better protection of the animals. So this vaccine is giving good protection against the sheep pox and goat pox. Second disease is FMD. Though this disease is severe in the large ruminant, but small ruminants they can affect with this FMD virus. It is highly contagious transboundary disease, and it is leading to huge economic losses because there is restriction on the trade during the outbreak of this disease. And even at the regional and international level, even during the FMD outbreak, we cannot transport our animal to the nearby district. So there is lot of restriction that also leads to the severe economic losses to the country and the farmers. Then in India, it is there are three serotypes which are prevalent and causing outbreaks are O, A and Asia 1. This is just similar to the our large ruminant cattle and buffalo. So this virus is a epitheliotropic virus. So it is having affinity and multiply in the variety of epithelium, different epithelium of the organs, and causing lesions and having the severe lesions in the oral mucosa and on the feet. So during viremia, there is multiplication of virus in the blood, and that leads to the very high fever and profuse salivation. Because of the lesions in the mouth, there is profuse salivation, and initially there are vesicles on the tongue. You can see these are the vesicles which are fluid filled initially. Then with the moment these ruptures and there is a formation of ulcers. These ulcers may be very big, and such type of ulcers can be found in any part of the lung, on the gum, on the tongue, upper palate. So these are very painful for the animal, and that leads to the anorexia. Then the lesions may be present on the foot also. So there is the in the interdigital cleft there may be these vesicles and ulcers formation takes place. That is again very painful, and that leads to the lameness in the animals. So there are various pictures here that all showing the different ulcerations and vesicles in the mouth cavity, and there are the swelling, and this hoof involvement is painful, so there is the lameness. And at the time of postmortem, in addition to the ulceration vesicles in the mouth and the feet, internally the very characteristic lesions may be found in most of the time, especially in the young animals. That is the myocardial necrosis that we have studied as a tigroid heart appearance. This is nothing but the myocardial necrosis that is seen specifically in the young animals, and that's why the mortality is large in young animals as compared to the adult animals because of this myocardial necrosis. So in the postmortem, there may be the ulcers in the pillar of the ruminant because this virus is multiply very fast in the stratified epithelium. So there may be ulcers in the pillar of the rumen. Then the key aspects of managing this FMD, though it is less severe as compared to the cattle, large ruminant, but the affected animal, we have to isolate it, and local wound care because to prevent the further secondary bacterial infection with the povidone iodine commonly. Then pain management because lameness is severe, and all the hygienic practices should be carried out, and give the antibiotics for secondary infection, and vaccination. This is very important because vaccine is available in India. That is we have to give twice in a year. Most specifically the central government, they are giving the vaccination, and mostly in the September and in the month of March. So this vaccine should be repeated twice in a year, which is having the prevalent strain in the India. Then rabies, as it affects the all the mammals, this virus also affects the sheep and goat and leads to the acute progressive encephalomyelitis. There is involvement of brain caused by this virus, and incubation period, as we studied, that it depends upon the site of bite and the distance of the central nervous system. If the bite is at the feet, then this virus need more time for travel. So in that case, incubation period will be more. Then clinical signs, this acute behavioral changes and unexplained progressive paralysis is the first indication of the rabies, and the animal may show the different, there are two form, dumb form and furious form. During furious form, animals are very furious, and then after damaging of several neurons, the animals become dumb. So again, most important is phonation, that is change in the voice. That is again one of the good the clinical signs that we should notice. And changes in the temperament and the apparent. So that is very apparent change in the phonation and the temperament. And then uncharacteristic aggressiveness may develop. The normal docile animal may suddenly become very vicious. So these are the here emphasis on the acute behavioral changes and paralysis. If there is history, we have to suspect this disease. And as there are other diseases which are involving the nervous system, so we have to always take into consideration the other differential diseases. When there are neurological signs, we have to suspect the rabies in addition to other diseases which are causing the neurological uh, affection. So common are lead poisoning, organophosphorus poisoning, then strychnine poisoning. There is listeriosis, lactation tetani, enterotoxemia, cyanosis, that is a parasitic infection damaging the brain. So sometimes the lesions are overlapping like a rabies, then thiamine deficiency because it is damaging the brain, then other spongiform encephalopathy, foreign bodies in the oral and pharyngeal organ, and the general weakness that also leads to the various generalized infections. So these are the means rabies we have to taken into consideration when there is involvement of neurological signs. So laboratory confirmation is very important because at the time of postmortem there is very few lesions that is visible. Even in the brain there may be only the congestion, but microscopically there are very lesions that is helpful for the diagnosis. So we have to send sample to the local or state laboratory which is recognized by the national agencies. So here this is very important, the part of the brain that should be sent to the lab for the confirmation, because this specific part of the brain having more number of Negri bodies. So in case of ruminant, this brain stem and the part of cerebellum should be there when we are sending sample for the confirmation of rabies. And in case of dog, this hippocampus portion is important. Then again, vaccine is available post prophylactic also, and after bite also, post bite exposure. So these vaccines schedule is 0, 3, 7, 14 and 21 days and then 19 days. The next disease which is very highly contagious and causing huge mortality all over the India is the PPR. Mostly it is affecting the goat, but sometimes can affect the sheep also. So as this is again the virus which are damaging the different system. So this virus is damaging the lymphoid system. So there is lymphopenia. So then immunosuppression, then respiratory system. So there is respiratory distress because of involvement of lung, and complete digestive system is involved. So there is diarrhea and erosions in the mouth cavity. So in India, it is first reported in 1989. Now this disease is present all over the India, causing huge mortality to the farmers. This is the name of the virus, morbillivirus of this Paramyxoviridae family. So morbidity and mortality that is very high in the young animals during the age 2 months to 2 years, and it may vary according to breed species and the status, immune status of the animals. Morbidity and mortality may reach to 100% in new herds or the herds which are exposed to the virus for the first time. Then in such herds, mortality may reach up to the 100%. So this, as I mentioned in the very first statement, that this virus is affecting so many systems. So this virus, they are present in the ocular, nasal, oral secretions, and animals are getting infection mostly by the inhalation of these aerosols, which are generated when the animals are having the respiratory signs. So this is in short the pathogenesis. I'm not going much in detail. General incubation period is 4 to 10 days. Then after entry into the virus, this is associated with the mononuclear cells and then disseminated into the different organs. So this disease is particularly in the goat. It occurs in either acute and subacute form, and during acute form there is fever. As the virus multiplies, there is viremia, so there is high fever, and there is initially serious watery discharge from the eyes and nose, and that's later on after 2 3 days that become mucopurulent, and this dries around the nostril, so there may be partial occlusion of the nostril. Then after 2 3 days there is development of these erosive and necrotic lesions in the mouth, which is very severe, and that can lead to the diphtheric plaques that is visible in the hard palate and soft palate. Then this diarrhea develops, which is profuse, and feces may have mucus and blood. And as it is, this virus is damaging the lymphocytes, so there is the leukopenia and dyspnea because of the involvement of the lungs. Pregnant animals may abort, and death occur within a week after onset of signs if the proper supportive treatment is not given. So these are the few images where there are erosions on the lips and around the commissure of the mouth. There are secretions from the nostril which later on dried and caused the partial occlusion of the nostril. And in sheep, this disease is mostly in the subacute form where low grade fever is there with intermittent diarrhea. So disease is more severe in the goat as compared to the sheep. And animals recover from these both sheep and goat. They have a long lasting immunity. These antibodies remain for the rest of the life of the animal. So this virus is having having lasting immunity. Then at the time of postmortem, characteristic lesions are present. So starting from the mouth, complete gum mucosa and tongue mucosa, we have to examine for the presence of erosions and ulcers in the mouth cavity. Then characteristic zebra markings may be present in the rectum and specifically at the ileocecal wall. Sometimes such zebra markings may be present. And when the infection is not complicated by the secondary bacterial infections, then pneumonia is of a interstitial type and there is involvement of the specific apical lobe that is called the cranioventral apical lobe. So here there is consolidation, and on the lungs also, as there is in interstitial pneumonia, enlargement of lungs, there may be rib imprints of the ribs on this affected part of the lung. So these are the characteristic pure uh, case of PPR. And when it is complicated by the secondary bacterial infections, then there may be fibrinous type of pneumonia which develops after the complications. Diagnosis, tentative diagnosis based on the postmortem lesions. And for confirmation, we have to send sample to the laboratory. So serum sample is very important for the ELISA to check the antibody body titer. And this disease can be confirmed with the PCR. So for PCR, we have to send different organs where virus multiplies like spleen, lungs, in the section of ileum, large intestine, nasal swab for the confirmation by the laboratory. So this is very important differential diagnosis. This disease, as I mentioned, very highly prevalent in India. We have to differentiate it from blue tongue, contagious ecthyma, FMD because of the mouth lesions, then hard water disease, coccidiosis, some mineral poisoning, CCPP, and pasteurellosis. Again, a good vaccine is available in the India that we have to give at the month of 3 months of the age, and this vaccine is giving the good immunity. So we have to repeat after 3 years of the life of the animals. Then next highly infectious disease of the sheep is the blue tongue, which is caused by the, again, viral. It is a viral disease. The characteristic feature are the cyanosis, means blueness. That's why the disease is having the name blue tongue. So in addition to that, there is stomatitis, that is the inflammation of mouth. There is involvement of respiratory system, digestive system, and the foot. So there is lameness. So it is endemic in India. So right now there are 28 serotypes are reported, and out of that the 23 serotypes have been reported in the India, and they are these virus, they are multiply in the arthropods, and these culicoids, they are transmitting this virus. So these sheep of all ages, they are susceptible, but adult sheep are generally severely affected than the lamb. So in most of the cases, usually young animals, they are severely affected, but in case of blue tongue, the adult animals, they are severely affected. So these goats, they can also affected, even the cattle. What is the role of cattle? This is very important. In cattle, there is a viremia, means virus is present in the blood. So during that, these culicoids, these arthropod can transmit the virus from the cattle to the sheep. So in this way, these cattle, they are responsible for the virus through insect transmission. So these are the culicoids which are transmitting this disease. Incubation period is less than a week. This is in short the pathogenesis. So I'm not going much in detail, but this is very important. This virus is having or damaging the endothelial cells of the blood vessels. And that's why there is necrosis, then widespread hemorrhages, thrombosis in the different organs. So clinical signs, they are start with the fever during the viremic phase. There is nasal and ocular discharge with excessive salivation, and there is, this is the characteristic feature, there is swelling and the cyanosis of the tongue of the sheep. So swelling may present in ear, face, and intermandibular space. But this point is very important, that this cyanosis of the tongue may not always present. Then involvement of the feet leads to the stiffness and lameness that is very severe, and there may be, in the terminal stages, there may be pulmonary edema, and death is due to the pneumonia. So these are the images where there is swelling of the lips and hyperemia of the skin and the nostril, then the severe subcutaneous edema of the face and submandibular edema is present. This is typical cyanosis of the tongue and swelling of the face because of the subcutaneous edema. And at the coronary band, there is cyanosis, bluishness of this band, and hyperemia that leads to the coronitis, which is very painful. Then at the time of postmortem, characteristic lesions we have to look for. These are the ulcers. Then in omasm, there may be hyperemia and hemorrhages. In heart, there may be the hydropericardium, that is accumulation of serous fluid, and the pathognomic, that is very important lesion of blue tongue, is the hemorrhages at the base of pulmonary artery. So whenever we are doing the postmortem of sheep and having such history, and we are suspecting that it can be the blue tongue, so we have to always open the heart, and from heart just open the pulmonary artery. If such type of petechial hemorrhages are present at the base of pulmonary artery, this lesion is considered as a pathognomic lesion of the BT. In addition to this, There may be necrosis of the cardiac muscle, specifically the papillary muscle of left ventricle. So again, this we have to examine carefully during the postmortem. So these papillary muscles of the left ventricle may have the necrosis. And if there is exposure of BT during the pregnancy, so there may be cerebral malformation that leads to hydrocephalus and porencephaly, that is there may be cavities of the cavities in the brain and retinal dysplasia. So this is the one of the complications of blue tongue when there is exposure to the pregnant animals. So these are the lesions. Then diagnosis, these are based on the symptoms and lesions. And ELISA, even for serology, ELISA can be done for the confirmation and RT-PCR for the confirmation. The next viral disease is the Ganjam virus. Ganjam virus is the name of the same disease which is present in Kenya. That disease is Nairobi sheep disease. It is a tick-borne viral infection causing severe hemorrhagic diseases in the sheep and goat, and it is the zoonotic agent. So whenever such a history of abortion and lesions, we have to handle it carefully. So this Ganjam is one place in the Odisha, and now this viruses has been reported from different parts of the country. So general incubation period is of 1 to 15 days, and disease is characterized by the hemorrhagic gastroenteritis. There is the enlargement of prescapular lymph nodes and serosanguinous nasal discharge, and pregnant animals frequently abort. This is very important in case of the pregnant animals. They abort frequently. And at the during the postmortem examination, so initially if animals die in per acute stage, there may be enlargement of these superficial and mesenteric lymph nodes, widespread ecchymotic and petechial hemorrhages on the different organs like heart. As I initially mentioned, it is a acute gastrohemorrhagic enteritis. So there may be hemorrhages in the gastrointestinal tract, other visceral organs like heart, spleen, liver, and lungs. And ulceration and hemorrhages may be present, specifically in the intestine, abomasum, ileum, and around ileocecal wall, and zebra strips, just like a PPR. So that may be present in cecum and colon. And above there is abortion, and aborted fetus also have the widespread hemorrhages throughout the organs and fetal membranes edematous and hemorrhagic. The next disease is the ORF or contagious ecthyma. It is highly infectious disease, again caused by the pox viridae family. And this disease is characterized by the pustules and scab on the hairless part of the body like lips, muzzle, and udder. So transmission is direct contact with the infected animals, and indirect transmission with the dry scab in the pain. This is very important. In this dry scab, virus may be present for months and years. So these farm workers may disseminate the virus among the animals, and with different pains with contaminated equipment, feed, and farm vehicles. So care must be taken that after the recovery of animals, we have to properly disinfect the farm, because as I mentioned, this may present in the farm for several months to years. So incubation period is very short, 2 to 3 days, and there is characteristic pustules and swab lesions on the muzzle, lips, and eyes. And this scab may be present on the udder, that may lead to the mastitis, and there may be the presence of these scab lesions on the coronary bands also. And most of the cases they heal. It is a self-limiting disease, so most of the uncomplicated cases they heal within 1 month. Some animals become emaciated if the lesions are severe, and sometimes there is involvement of lungs. So there is pneumonia. So we can see the characteristic pustules and squab lesions. They are present around the mouth, on other hairless part of the body, udder and feet, and sometimes these lesions may present in nasal cavity and mucosa of the esophagus and upper respiratory tract. And very rarely there is systemic involvement like lungs, pleura and liver. Again, differential diagnosis. This disease we have to differentiate from blue tongue, sheep, goat pox, cutaneous anthrax, and other vesicular diseases. Again, vaccine is available in the market. We have to give the vaccination of these young animals. And again, this vaccination should be repeated every yearly, just like other pox virus diseases like goat pox and sheep pox. Then the sporadic cases of these caprine arthritis and encephalitis have been reported. So I have included here. So in past, it is reported that the seropositivity rate of around 3.3 to 6.96. And after that, in 2022, there was a report and no records of caprine arthritis encephalitis in India. But we are not sure because we are not reporting extensively, so we must have some knowledge if there are cases of lameness due to arthritis, and the other at the simultaneously there is involvement of the brain. So such infection we have to suspect. So this is the arthritis, severe arthritis, fibrinous arthritis is there, and it is a systemic disease. So involving different organs. So joint is mostly involved in older animals which are above the 12 months, and encephalitis, that is involvement of brain, is mostly seen in animals around 2 to 4 months. Means yeah, in young animals there is encephalitis, and sometimes there is pneumonia and hardening of the udder that leads to the mastitis. Then sporadic, another sporadic disease is Maddie Visna. So they are mostly diagnosed in the at the time of postmortem or in this slaughterhouses study. When we collected samples from the slaughterhouses for the specific study, that time they are diagnosed. Otherwise, they are not causing the outbreak. So it is a chronic disease of the sheep. So this Visna, that is showing the nervous symptoms, and in Medi there is the involvement of lung that is exhibited as a respiratory symptoms, and both this form, they are terminally fatal, means there is death of the animals. So incubation period is very large, and they are diagnosed as I mentioned at the time of postmortem. So lungs are enlarged 2 to 5 times, and there is a rubbery consistency. So these are the feature of the lungs affected with this disease. So there is enlargement of the lung with rubbery consistency. That is a feature of this MADI. Then another disease is the ovine pulmonary adenomatosis, that is JAXI. It is a neoplastic cancer causing disease of the sheep present in the India. Again, it is sporadic cases mostly diagnosed at the samples which are collected from the slaughterhouses for the study. So incubation period is very large. So it is mostly seen in adult animals as it is a neoplastic disease. So involving lung. So in the lung, there is this virus causing the damage or cancer of the type 2 pneumocytes of the lungs, and that ultimately leads to the polyp-like growth, and there is anoxia. So there are multiple nodules observed on the lungs, and this is the histopathological picture where the all alveoli, they are transformed into polyp-like growth. So this is the feature of ovine pulmonary adenomatosis. So in the field, this test is useful, wheelbarrow test. So this is simple test. Hold the sheep up by hind leg And in an infected sheep, there is the about 200 ml watery mucus comes from the nostril. Another laboratory test can be used for the diagnosis like ELISA, but this wheelbarrow test is the simple test which is commonly used in the countries where this disease is highly prevalent. Then Acaben virus. So this is the virus. Again, the cases are not much, but as means as a fever worker, we are working in the field, so we must know there are some viruses which are causing teratogenic effect. Teratogenic effect means when the uterus in the uterus the fetus they get affected with the viruses and cause the damage. Those are called teratogenic viruses. So these viruses is causing such type of arthrogryposis condition, and earlier these has been reported serologically, and again this virus is damaging the brain cells during the development in the uterus. So in fetus there may be hydranencephaly and uh, hydrocephalus condition may be present. So this was about the common viral diseases prevalent in the India. Thank you.